I'm in the right place. There you are. Hello. Yay. Hey, Camille. Hey, Ned. All right. So, good morning, everyone. I was saying that last week we had last week we had an entire week of wealth embodiment, right? We had so much fun every day. We had a different activity to do. You all were dressing up like your millionaire self, treating yourself to flowers. We went, oh my gosh, those of you that went luxury shopping, I was in awe of all that's out there to be purchased. I was like, wow, I would have never even thought about that. So you guys crushed it, and I absolutely had fun watching you. And this week, we are doing Wealth Affirmations Week. So let me just come over here real quick and make sure that I tell you all where to go. I just want to make sure that you know, all of you that are here in Facebook, we have our Wealth with Ease Facebook group, and that's where we're doing all the fun. So if you're not in there, go to Facebook and type Wealth with Ease. You should see a picture of me and you'll know you're in the right place. Make sure you request to join, because not only did we have Wealth Embodiment Week last week, if you missed it, this week we're doing Wealth Affirmations Week. Every single day, simply, I give you a wealth affirmation, and all I ask you to do, say it out loud. Bonus points if you say it out loud multiple times, and then post done in the comments so we know you took care of business for that day, right? So that's what we're doing this week in the Facebook group, Wealth with Ease. 5-day activation. Go find it. And some of you are in there and probably not playing along, so make sure you go have all the fun, because we are getting ready for next week. Next Monday, we start our 5-day Wealth with Ease activation, and I know that there are thousands of you that are registering for it, and I want to make sure you're getting all the perks along the way before we start next Monday. And so today we're talking about business acts of faith. Here's what I want to just remind you of. Every single woman that's watching, I know that by this point, if you're in my community anyway, we've written our intentions, we did our money manifested board, we have written our affirmations, we have described all of the things that we want to manifest this year in our business. Some of you even did your business manifested board. And you have asked, right? The first part of manifesting is to ask. I feel like everyone's done an amazing job of asking. And now the next step is to demonstrate that you know, you will receive what you have asked for. And, there's the Bible verse that I really stand by in this process. And it says, whatever you ask for in prayer, and you believe that you have already received it, you will receive it. Doesn't sound complicated to me. Very simple. I get it. Not too deep. Whatever you ask for when you pray, when you wrote your intentions, when you declared your business goals for 2024, right? That is a prayer. So whatever you ask for when you pray, if you believe that the second you wrote it, you've already received it, then you will receive it. And so many of us, we're all trying to master manifesting. We're working really hard to get the results that we want in our business. And that's the formula. You ask, believe that you receive it, and you will receive it. And so how do you demonstrate that you will receive it? How do you demonstrate that you believe? Because demonstrating belief is crucial to this process. And I read recently, and I love this, God is waiting for you to make the first move. The universe is waiting for you to make the first move. That is how you demonstrate that you believe. It's one thing for everybody can say, I believe, I believe, I believe. Great. But as my husband would say, I pay zero attention to what people say, and I just watch what they do. And I've like fought him and fought him and fought him. And now I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're onto something, because we sure do talk a lot. Right? And he's like, I literally blank out what people say, and I just watch what they do. And I feel like that's God. That's universe source. Like, yeah, thank you for telling me. Thank you for praying and telling me about how much you believe, but show me, make the first move. Show me that you believe. And that's this conversation today is going to be around, how do you show that? How do you show, not say, but show that you believe? And the answer is, you have to take an act. You have to take an act that demonstrates that you believe. And that act is something that, right, you don't have the results right now. You've prayed for your multi six-figure business this year, your seven-figure business, your business going global, all the clients staying constantly, your bank account for your business multiplying. You've prayed the prayer, and now it's time to act as if you've already received it. It's the only way to show that you believe. It's not enough to just say you believe. You have to demonstrate that you believe. And that's an act of faith, because you don't have the results yet. Right? You are definitely not seeing the results in the physical, and you have to demonstrate that you have already received it, that you believe you've already received it. And so I love that. Take an act of faith. And I associate an act of faith, acts, activate. So can you all type that? ACT, when you take an act, right? Acts of faith equals activating my manifestation. To take an act of faith equals manifesting my manifestation. That is you making the first move. God's like, all right, Chica, I heard you. I heard that prayer. I saw that journal entry. I saw your visualizing. I saw your board. Now show me you believe I'm going to deliver, right? Universe is like, show me, show me. So an act of faith equals you're manifesting. I love those of you that are typing it all out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's, again, whenever I invite you to type something, I just want to encourage you all to do it, because it starts to create a new neural pathway for you. You're like, you get the lesson at a deeper level. All right. So that's what we're going to do this morning, right? We're just going to take the next couple of minutes, and literally we're going to have an acts of faith rampage. I'm going to inspire you to start to think. You already wrote out your intentions. You set your goal for the year. What is an act of faith that you can take to demonstrate you believe you have already received it? So this is how we're going to blow up the comments wherever you're watching. You are going to type something that you're like, you know what? And the interesting thing about acts of faith is we always get a nudge. We always get guided about the things to do. And some of us are not as obedient. And God's like, well, you asked. I'm waiting. I've not only waited for you to take the first move, I've told you the move to take. To me, that's like, are you kidding? And you're not taking it? Like, not only, is God waiting for you to take it, universe, source, waiting for you to take it, but actually told you what to do. And we're still sitting on our hands like, nope, I believe. Not going to work. Sorry to have to be the one to burst that bubble. So this morning, we're going to blow up Facebook and Instagram with what are our acts of faith. And I'm going to share some of the ones that I have seen happen in our group. I'm going to share some of the things that I've done in the past. And I want you to be thinking of your business goal, because this is very specific to business, right? Maybe some of you have careers and you can relate to this. You can think about, in my career, I set a goal for myself this year. What is an act of faith that I need to take to demonstrate that I believe I've already received it? So one of the beautiful ladies in my most recent program, she was doing the program. She's got a job. She wants to launch out into taking her creativity and making extra money from it. And so she's beautiful at creating journals. I saw last week, she just on the fly got inspired, designed a gratitude journal, put it out there on Amazon. Like, all right, I'm going to demonstrate that I believe. Another one of our clients in one of our groups, she's a beautiful artist. She was showing us her artwork. And then I was like, why aren't you selling this? Next thing I knew, she took an act of faith. She started putting it out on different websites where her work could be sold. Last night, though, had me screaming in my closet because one of our Wealth sisters, she reached out to me last week and she's like, hey, I have an update for you. And I was like, well, I love to scream, so record. She actually told me, gave me an idea of what had happened. And I was like, well, you know your girl, I love to scream. I want to hear the full story. I want to hear what you did. Right. And so when she sent me a video last night, I was in my closet screaming like a crazy woman, because she had an opportunity to access receiving over $100,000. And the way that she could receive this $100,000, there were stipulations around, you know, what was required, right? So think of like you're applying for a grant and it's like you need this, 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 and this in order to get the money. And so she read that, and at first she was like, well, you know, I'm not going to qualify. And then she said to herself, wait a second, why am I deciding that what they said is, you know, like my terms and conditions? And so she took an act of faith, even though they clearly stated these are the requirements, and she applied. And you know what? Her act of faith worked. She literally released control, took the act of faith, and got access to over $100,000. She was so happy. She's like, Tasha, I'm living my paid in full life that I've always wanted. 50 something years old, finally, like in that place, paid in full. So I'm just saying, right? What are you waiting on? If you have a nudge, what are some of the acts of faith that you can start taking? Some of you are like, you know, I would love to do a retreat. I would love to have clients. Find a place for the retreat, reserve it, make the reservation, publish your book. You want to write a book? Pay somebody to design the cover. Like I remember Wayne Dyer said, before he wrote any books, he would have the cover designed. He would have the cover, the design printed. He would put it on the top of a book he already had and sit it in front of him before he started writing his book. Like that's an act of faith. And then I would put Amazon bestseller on it when I got it designed, or New York Times bestseller. Like, what is an act of faith that you can take towards the results that you want? What are some other ones that I have that I'm thinking of right now? I'm just gonna, and I'm also gonna share some of mine, but you know, some of you have businesses that you are waiting until you get the money to invest in your business. Well, is it the chicken or the egg? It's always the chicken. It's the act of faith. The act of faith is a chicken. On this one, it's not a riddle. What is the thing to do? Take an act of faith. Invest in your business as if you already have the results that you desire. And I'm going to share with you something that I did around that. You can offer your program. Some of you are like, oh, I have a program, but I'm waiting for it to be perfect. And, you know, I need to put it all together and I don't know how to price it and don't know how to market and don't know how to promote on Facebook. And I'm like, okay, so you already have the product. Offer it to your closest friends for free. Like, just do it. Start doing it. One of my best friends last week, we had a conversation. She's been, you know, launching something new from anything she's ever done in her life. And so she has the you know, the little fears that we all have. She's a little nervous about it. And she decided, you know what, I'm just going to put it out there first for free. So she put it out for free. And then when the free thing was done, she invited those that were there to continue on for a ridiculously priced opportunity, which I was like, wow, that's very generous. But you know what? See what happens? She's in motion. She's doing it. Instead of sitting there trying to perfect it, trying to worry, she's getting it done. She's getting people to learn about what she does so that she can serve them and change their lives. And a lot of us, we have gifts and talents and we're waiting. We have set business goals and we've done all this stuff, but like the next little piece, the next move, the act that will activate our manifestation, we're not taking that next step. So this morning, here we go. Let's go. What's your act of faith? I've done some crazy things. You all know you can count on me to tell you some crazy stories. One year I wanted to do multiple seven figures. And I was like, okay, what's an act of faith? I invested in $100,000 coaching program. And when I found out the price of the $100,000 coaching program, I literally sat back and I typed out I'm sorry, I got a text just came in and distracted me. When I was like, okay, so it's going to be $100,000. How am I going to pay for that? I don't know. So my act of faith was to get one of my personal checks and write the $100,000 made out to the mentor and leave it on my desk. And it sat there for several months. And then when we spoke again, she was like, you know what, Tasha, I'm going to offer you a payment plan. I'm like, okay. And so there, I didn't have to come up with $100,000 all at once, did a payment plan, and I was able to do it. But my act of faith for the multiple seven figures and to grow my business, my act of faith was making that investment, right? I have done things where I know I'm going to do like a launch or and an event. And I know at the end, I want to celebrate my success. And so I'm like, how would I celebrate the success of this? Oh, I would book a spa day. So before I even market the event, I book the spa day. I take the act of faith. I'll be doing the spa day as my success celebration. So before I even begin anything, I take the act of faith, which is I believe I will be at that spa day celebrating. So I book it. I pay for the services ahead of time. Those are some of the things that I've done. Some of you are like, when my business succeeds, I'm going to buy a new car. I'm going to buy a new house. Go look at the new car and the new house right now. Let that be your act of faith. I certainly don't want to say, hey, spend money where you're not feeling comfortable, but there are definitely a lot of things that you can do to demonstrate your faith. I had an event recently, and it was my event to invite new goddesses into our community. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to take my act of faith, and I went and bought 12 goddess crowns. When you become a goddess, you've seen the purple dresses and the beautiful gold crowns. So I bought 12 crowns, I wrapped them in boxes, and I brought them to the event. And guess what happened? 12 women said yes, right? That was my act of faith. And so then I was like, well, why didn't you buy 20 crowns? I was like, guess my faith wasn't at that level at that point. But I definitely start to see that there is a pattern to success. You ask for something and then you are going to be expected. I've done this long enough to know, and I can tell you, sure as my name is Tasha, sometimes you're not getting the results because you're not taking an act of faith. Some of you have businesses that are just starting and you're waiting till your business makes 6 and 7 and 8 figures before you pay yourself. One of my goddesses, I had a conversation with her very lovingly, and I said, no, we're not going to do that. You're going to act as if your business is profitable right now. And I don't care if you made whatever number you made, take 10% of it and give it to yourself, right? Show that you are acting in faith that this business will generate enough money to pay you very well. So start to take the act of faith right now. You can create things like an org chart. You have a business intention for a big business. This is something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I've done some crazy things. I literally created an org chart with I don't know, this big crazy team. And guess what? I've got 13 people. I heard my husband telling his mom last night, oh yeah, when Tasha does her meeting, she's got people in Dubai, India, the Netherlands, the UK, Jamaica, all over the US. And I was like watching TV, and I turned and looked at him. I was like, oh wow, you're right. You're right. And then it hit me, knowing I was having this conversation years ago. I made a big org chart. I was like, I don't want to do this on my own. And my act of faith was, these are the spots I'm going to have. And here we are, right? So those are just some of the things that you can start to do. Another fun thing that I've done. Oh, when you want to have a group, coaching business. I've done things where I'm like, okay, I want to invite this 50 women into this program. I have sat, and you all that have been in my programs, you've seen me do this, and I make 50 circles on a big white sheet. And then I just start filling in the names as they come in. But I literally am like, this is the name of the group. This is the time of year that it is. I name it, right? So God, universe, source is very clear around my intentions. And then I make circles. Another thing that I do is, when I have a success goal I want, like you want to make 150,000, 250,000, I create a little measurement tracker and I put it up on the wall. There's one on my wall right now. And as I get, to this revenue level and this revenue level. And so what happens is I have the number at the top, and then, I have little markers along the way. But seeing it is my act of faith, knowing I'm going to fill that in. Right. So I hope that some of those ideas serve you. I I love that. Someone said, yes, I did that. I had all the roles and positions set up. I love that. So I looked at my new car. I'm making the down payment. I love the spa day idea. I booked a retreat location. You go, Evie. I love that. Yes. So when I'm done, Bonnie says I just gave her a great idea for her third journal. I love it. I love it. Ellie says, I coached for free at first, and it gave me more confidence that I totally know what to do, that I know what I know. There you go. Right? So what's your act of faith? That was the purpose of our time together today. And as you all know, coming up next Monday, starting next Monday, we have 5 days of Wealth with Ease. This is the journal that changed the trajectory of my life. I am going to read to you, I think on day one, looking at my notes, I think on day one, I'm going to read the journal entry to you next Monday that changed my life. This one journal entry has led to a 7-figure business. It's led to summers off. It's led to over 50,000 clients. It's led to 11 millionaires, proud to say, right? In our community, we've made over 11 women millionaires. A ton of them, six and multiple 6 figures, have manifested. We've also had, right, we got a new 6-figure last week in our Wealth Sisterhood. It's just I'm going to read the journal entry that I realized yesterday changed everything for me. That's going to be next week during our Wealth with Ease. But here's the thing. It's not, oh, yay, good for you, Tasha. I'm going to share with you why it worked. Now, 10, 11 years later, with so much wisdom, I'm like, that's why it worked. That's why it worked. And you should do this. So you want to be there. You want to make sure you're registered. Now, I know a ton of you are already registered for this event. But if you're not, you want to go ahead and type the word, hang on a second, let me make sure I get it for you. You want to go ahead and type the word ease. Type the word ease in the comments and check Facebook Messenger. Make sure you're registered that way, because every single day in Facebook Messenger, you'll get the exact link. The link changes every day during the 5 days. You'll get the exact link for that day's live, right? And remember, Monday, I'm going to read this to you. Type the word ease. Check Facebook Messenger. It works on Instagram and Facebook. If you are watching on YouTube, you can go to tashachen.com/wealth with ease. Now, ladies, I'm just going to keep it real because I know a ton of you have already registered. Not as many of you have registered for VIP. So I want to talk about that. When you type ease, even if you've already registered, it's going to give you a reminder to say, hey, have you signed up for VIP? VIP is $22. Listen, I have a life philosophy. You talk about embodying wealth, acting in faith as if you are wealthy. Any VIP option I get for $22, I'm taking. That is a very cheap act of faith, if you ask me. I am demonstrating to God, universe, source. I'm at that level. I am a VIP. Right? So for $22, I'm just going to keep it real. Every one of you should be registered as a VIP. And during the VIP session, what are you going to get? You're going to meet the 11th millionaire, dare I say, multi-millionaire. You're going to meet her. And I asked her to come because when she called me to share what had happened, she said 2 things to me. She said, Tasha, number one, there's one thing that I did a few days before this manifestation happened. One thing that I did, and it was a breakthrough moment for me. I'm asking her to share that one thing with you. And then the other thing she said is, looking back at my journey, I realized what changed. I realized what changed in me for $22. Listen, I just paid $10,000 to do a program for one reason. One reason and one reason only. I wanted to be in the space where I would get new ideas. So for $22 to hear from a woman who just became a multimillionaire, I think that's a no-brainer. I'm going to tell you, you all should go pay the $22 for that alone. And there's 2 other things I'm going to talk about during that VIP session next week. It's going to be next week, Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So that's the 28th at 6 p.m. During that session, I'm going to talk about the 3 spiritual laws of wealth. And you know I love visualizing. It's my thing. It's my sweet spot. And I realized I got a download. Oh my gosh, Tasha, this is what a lot of women, and I realize myself included, are doing with visualizing, not realizing, and it's actually messing up their manifestation. So usually I tell you, oh, this is how to visualize amazing and manifest. But during the VIP session, I'm going to point out to you something you're doing that's actually visualizing and it's messing up your manifesting. And that to me, again, worth the $22, $2,200. If you want to master using your brain, visualizing to create a result instead of working hard, then it's more than worth it. So let me just see. I want you all jump on in here and let me know right now so I can start seeing who is identifying themselves. You've all typed ease. Check Facebook Messenger. If you already registered, it's going to give you a prompt to become a VIP. But like, just declare it right now, right? Like, I am a VIP. Type it. Put it in there. I am a VIP. Let me know. I am declaring that, Tasha. See you next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. And if you can't make it, of course, you'll get the replay. And I want to also talk about what I'm going to be sharing next week, because a lot of you in my community, you've gone through several 5-day Wealth with Ease activation. This one is going to be off the charts. Why? Because I've literally become a scientist. I was telling my husband, and my husband has a PhD. He's like psychology genius. And I was telling him all the things that I've really been studying and reading, and like just getting all kinds of downloads. And next week, it's all science. I know we talk about manifesting, but I feel like it's become diluted. You need to understand how your brain works to get you the results that you want. So on Monday, I'm talking about the history of your brain, the history of the human brain, and how to rewire it to create wealth for you. How to rewire your brain to create wealth with ease. Also, it's going to explain to you why you choose to be addicted to work instead of using your brain. So that's day number 1. Day number 2, I'm going to show you the way that your brain is actually, instead of you using it to attract money, it's wired to protect you from money. And I'm going to show you the science behind that, right? Why women who've experienced trauma actually experience it at deeper levels and block the things more powerfully, like money, than men. So that's day number 2. Day number 3, the law of cause and effect, and how to use that law. It's a law, how to use that law to get the success that you want. Day number 4, I'm going to be talking about the female brain, your superpower, what you can do because you are a woman. Like, this is your superpower. Your brain is totally different, right? So how we can leverage the differences that we have as women to make success easier for us. Mind-blowing. And then day number 5 is all practical. I'm literally going to show you. You want to get to multiple 6 figures. You want to get to 7 figures. This is a training I do at my goddess level. I'm going to show you a practical path, a plan that literally in less than 5 minutes, it's all yours. All right. So I'm going to jump over here in the comments. You in? You in for next week? An entire week of all things wealth with ease, the science behind how to create it, the literally the ways to rewire your brain to generate prosperity in your business. That's how we're rolling. That's what we're doing. All right. I will see you all. I love it. I'm a VIP. I love it. I will see you all. I think we're doing a quick Facebook Live at 11 because it's our affirmations week. So I'm going to share my most powerful money affirmation. And I've done a lot. I've done a lot over the years. But at 11, I'll be going live again. And in honor of Affirmations Week, that's what I'm going to be sharing. All right, everyone. Happy Monday. See you all later.